Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome one and all. I am super grateful that you have joined me on this magical today. Every single day is a magical day as long as we choose, as long as we decide to make it one, because we are creating our reality with every choice, with every decision, within every thought, really. And today I wanted to get into some of the messages that our higher self want us to know. I see consistent themes within my clients, and I always know that I'm talking to their higher self for many reasons. One of these reasons is they always say the same things, the same phrases, give the same advice to literally almost every client. I can say for a lot of these topics, they come through almost every single time. And now the reasons are different for each and every person, and the perspectives that are given are different for each and every person. But the main theme, always the same. And so before I get into these main themes, or some of the main themes, because there's many, and I'm just going to cover a few today, but I wanted to talk about the higher self itself and what that is, because it's not really an easy thing to understand. And I can't say that I fully understand the complexity or the totality of it either. But I do have a small understanding or perspective of it that I can share, which is the higher self is us, every single one of us, every human being here on earth. As we evolve, as we go through our spiritual journey and we take our steps in our spiritual evolvement, we go through higher dimensional levels. And our higher self is on a very higher dimensional level than we are, which means that this collective, and it's a collective because at this level, we get to a place of understanding that we are really one, that there is no separation, and we can see it clearly. We can see everything clearly. There is no veil. We can see everyone's intentions clearly, everyone's energies. And also from that perspective, you can see all of the different dimensional timelines all existing at once because you have this ability within your mind to grasp all of it. See, here as human beings, we really don't. We don't have the ability to grasp the totality of the complexity of the reality of what it really is in these higher dimensional levels. And so when we get up to this higher dimensional space where the higher self exists, at that point, we are complete unity. At this point, there is no more polarity because along this soul evolvement journey, all of the negative polarity, anyone who has chosen that journey, that negative path to go back to the one, because both paths lead back to the one, and so different souls choose different paths. Any soul that has chosen a negative path will, before going to this higher level where the higher self exists, just release that negative polarity because they've gained enough wisdom and understanding to see the unity and the wholeness and the love that actually is. And so the higher self at this level is only love, is only unity, and only comes from this perspective of oneness and unity and love. So you never get any sort of negative connotation from them. You're always getting it so simply and beautifully as it is from this place of love. We are all connected at this level. All of our souls at this level are one. We can hear each other's thoughts. We can feel each other. We all continue to have our own perspective, yet the group mind is one, that we all know what the other knows. So each and every person that I see and I talk to their higher selves, that's the same entity that I'm talking to. And when I say entity, it sounds small. This is a humongous entity, if you could only imagine. One big, humongous group soul that contains all of us. Fascinating, right? Hard to wrap your brain around. But, we live in a 3-dimensional world, and that's more like a 6-dimensional world. So there's a whole lot more that we need to understand in order to really grasp the totality of it. For now, for me, my understanding, to make it simple like that helps. So I hope that helps you. So some of the things that the higher selves are always telling my clients, 3 main things I picked out to talk about today. 1 is trust. Trusting and listening to yourself. Biggest theme I think I see. Another huge theme is love, of course, right? I should have put that number 1. But I actually see this theme a little less than I see the trust and the listen to yourself. Love is a very huge theme as well, and it is in the majority of sessions, of course. But loving the self and just understanding that that is all we are. A remembrance that that is what we are made of and that is what we exist in. And the third thing is letting go. And this encompasses a whole lot. But I hear the words letting go consistently. We all have things to let go of. So many times we're holding on to different energies, feelings, thoughts, or emotions, and they're not necessary in our present. We've experienced them in our past, and for some reason, and it's different for all of us, we want to hold on to it. Sometimes it's become part of our identity. It's become something that we're comfortable with. We don't know who we are without it. And so sometimes we just don't want to let that go because it's scary. We're afraid of change. And I'll come back to that in just a little bit because I want to go back to trusting and listening to yourself. Like I said, almost every single person's higher self tells them to trust themselves, that they always have the answers. All they need to do is listen to themselves. We get so caught up in our human selves. I call it this human conundrum. We think that we know better. We hear our first initial thought, or we even have that feeling, that heartfelt feeling that we know we can listen to, or that gut feeling that says, oh, this isn't quite right. But then we allow our human side to come in and talk us out of it and doubt what we know for whatever reason, for whatever logical or material reason. And usually those reasons are surrounded in fear of some sort, in some way or another. Every single time we listen to ourselves and our first initial feeling, it's always right. And the way most of us learn this is by doing the opposite. So this is a really good example of why we need contrast, because each and every one of us learns to listen to our intuition by not listening to it. By having that feeling, by having that thought that says, maybe I shouldn't go down that road, or maybe I should do this one thing, and then not doing it and regretting it, or going down that road that you know you shouldn't go down and regretting it later. We always know, and we say to ourselves, it's like we bang ourselves on the head and say, why? Well, I knew better. I don't know why I didn't listen to myself. And the more we do this, the worse it gets. And so what is it within our humanness that thinks that we know better? It's this hubris, this human hubris, that we think we know better than our higher self, than our inner being, that is clearly telling us quickly, right away, what the answer is. And then our human self, who thinks we know better, comes on in and just doubts the whole thing and negates it. So our higher selves are always saying, knock that off. Stop doing that. Trust yourself. Trust your feelings. Trust the very first thing that comes in.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about a podcast that is focused on answering the big questions in life called Stories of Impact. Did you know that there are researchers out there working daily to discover scientific evidence about how you can flourish? Join Tavia Gilbert as she shares and connects with compelling stories all about the ongoing scientific exploration of how to live better and shares key discoveries of research grantees from the Templeton World Charity Foundation. I listened to an episode with Deepak Chopra where he discusses how human flourishing is intimately tied into our ability to tap into the flow state, which really resonates with me. As you know, if you have read my book, I wholeheartedly believe in the importance of focusing our flow. So, to continue improving your physical and mental health, tune into new episodes the first and third Tuesday of the month by subscribing and listening wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to check out storiesofimpact.org.
This is the way we all have our answers. We all get that very first response. This is the answer. We have to learn to trust that and then listen to it. So listening to it is a very big piece as well. And when I ask the higher selves, well, how can we do that? How can we trust ourselves more? How can we listen to ourselves more? The answer is 9 times out of 10, meditate. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Take time to yourself. Be quiet. Go out in nature. In order to listen to your inner being, you first have to quiet all the chatter of the conscious mind, all those analytical thoughts of the day. And so in order to quiet that down, a really easy way is to just go sit outside and just take a moment to yourself and breathe and meditate if that's something that you can do or a practice that you have developed. And I will say that's a really good practice to develop if you're not already doing it, because this is the way we can quiet our minds easily and connect with our higher self, to easily and clearly get those messages where they're heard more strongly than they would be in just waking consciousness when it's hard to hear through all the mind chatter. And taking the time to do these things for ourselves is really about loving ourselves, which is the next big theme that comes up a lot. Love in general, love being all that we are, and a remembrance of that love and choosing that love, but knowing that we are such worthy creatures, that each and every one of us is important and valuable, and to take time for ourselves, to care for ourselves, to care for our bodies, to take these moments of quiet time and relaxation and fun time. Time to play, time to relax. They want us to do this so badly. They scold people all the time about it is time to slow down, relax, have fun. You didn't come here to work so hard and to feel beaten down and unworthy. No, you are so incredibly loved, so worthy, so valuable. They want us to have fun. They want us to enjoy our lives and play. There's no reason why we shouldn't be playing. So many of us start beating ourselves up because of the shouldas and the we should be doing this, and society says that I need to really work hard, or my parents taught me that I am not good enough unless I am doing all of these things. And then we beat ourselves down and burden ourselves all up and make life really hard. And what they want us to do is love all of our imperfections. Love the imperfections in another, releasing all of the judgment on ourselves and on others, respecting another's journey, respecting your own, being kind to yourself, forgiving yourself, knowing that you're just learning and that these supposed mistakes, and I say supposed because there's no such thing. We beat ourselves up for the mistakes that we make in life, and there was no mistake ever made because we learned from it. It made us who we are, and it's all okay in the end. All the time I hear this, it is all okay. It's always going to be okay. No matter what choice you make, you cannot make a mistake. The mistakes are learning opportunities, or what you think is a mistake is a beautiful learning opportunity. It is strengthening you and helping you grow. And so beating ourselves up about these mistakes or burdening ourselves with guilt from the things that we have done, that is not serving us one single bit. What is serving us is taking this experience and asking ourselves, what did I learn from it? What can I learn from it? Is there more to learn from it? In this way, we can move forward. We can honor ourselves in this place that we were and in this place that we are moving towards. There's no reason for us to hold on to any of these heavy burdens, any of these guilts anymore. When the higher self is talking to clients about this, they are explaining to them how incredibly loved. And from that perspective, there is no wrong, there is no right. Everyone is just doing the best that they can. And so it is okay to just let it go. You don't need to carry these things anymore. Letting go is the other humongous theme, and letting go of so many things, letting go of the burdens, letting go of the guilt, letting go of the past that you cannot change. The only thing you can change about the past is your now perspective of it, right? So changing your perspective of those things in the past and letting go of the negative emotions that are being carried because of it and burdening and holding you down and making you feel heavy because of it. When clients are able to let these emotions go, they feel so much lighter. Their energy is lighter because they don't need to carry around this heavy energetic burden anymore. So letting go can mean so many things. It can mean letting go of all of the overthinking, of all of the analytical thoughts, of the worries, of the doubts that come up consistently for a lot of us, of fears. This world is a place for us to experience fear because it's the only place it exists. It's the illusion here. And they want us to understand that that's all that it is. It's just an illusion. It is here to teach us and to let go of any fears that are holding us back or keeping us from moving in the direction that we know we're supposed to. This is what happens. Our higher self comes in and tells us, hey, go in that direction. And then our conscious mind comes in and says, oh no, that's a little scary for X, Y, and Z reason. And mom wouldn't like that, and society would think that's totally crazy. And so then we start questioning ourselves, but the higher self is over here saying, no, trust that first thought and just listen to me. Let go of all that fear and don't overthink it. You don't have control over it anyway, so let that go too. Zero control. The only thing we have control over are our own choices. That's it. We don't have control over the external circumstances, anyone else's choices, what anyone decides to do in their life, only our own. And so that's a really big one to let go of. That is very freeing in and of itself, letting all of that go. It is your journey, and that is it. That is the only journey that you need to worry about, not anybody else's but your own. Free as can be when you can let go just like that. I think that's it for me today, everyone. I'm going to leave you with the song for today. And, symbolically, this is going to be a song by Symbolico called I'm Free. Until next time, I love you all.
free. I'm free. I'm free.